Hi everyone, so we're in a new scenario, setting. This is my living room, which I'm still working on. As you can see, still some space left for some more art. My living room I specifically created as a reflection of what my interests are and what inspires me, and sort of, I'm just obsessed with pop culture and art and everything. And so I wanted to utilize that so you can sort of get a feel for who I am. My neighbors across the hall love to have dance parties at 2 p.m. Luckily it's either like 3 a.m. or 2 p.m. There's really no in between. And I'm all for that, except I'm like, I want to film and I don't want to, no copyright infringement, please. If you can tell what the song is, I don't know what they are, but you know, whatever. So we're gonna do February products of the month. I finally have a tripod, not just quite literally stacking my camera on a humidifier box and using a desk lamp with a tissue taped over it as lighting. I ordered 2 soft boxes. One of them works, which is what I'm using now, and the other one doesn't. So I got it on Amazon. So I contacted the seller and just was like, hey, this is what happened. What can we do? So we'll see. I was sick for the first half of February, pretty much entirely. We're talking 103-degree fever and lots of mucus-related things, which I'm sure you would love to know more about. And then it eventually turned into a sinus infection, which I'm like, thanks body, thanks for doing that. But my immune system is good, so it's good that it, like, you know, tried to get rid of everything. So I finally feel better. My voice is still not where it normally is, and I'm, you know, still coughing just a little bit. But fortunately, there is no fever, and I'm feeling much better. Do you want to see the living room? I kind of really want to show you. Y'all remember that from the old place, right? My Marilyn Manson that I think a lot of people freaked out about. Of course, the lighting tapers off once we get to the end there. But, you know. I also think just like sitting on the couch and like talking to you feels so much more casual and I don't want to say relatable, like I'm not just like all of you, because I am, but I feel like it makes it a little bit more fun, more conversational, right? And more just like we're hanging out and drinking a glass of red wine, which is one of my favorite pastimes. Gotta get those polyphenols, and just hanging out with you guys I think is really what I enjoy. So I did do Instagram Live a few times this month, which was really fun. I did the vitamin C video, which I know a lot of you have really enjoyed. I'm working on the next one. I'm also, if you didn't see my May Lindstrom video, that actually went up fairly recently as well. And funny story is, and I addressed this in the blog post that I wrote that kind of coordinated with it, I did not know about the price increase at the time that I filmed the video. It was about a week prior. So the timing was just a little bit strange and so weird. We're on the same wavelength. I was like, I don't know how, but because you're amazing, I don't know. So yeah, I want to talk about products that I've loved this month and just sort of some updates and some sort of thoughts, if you will. So we've got a shoebox because I've yet to upgrade myself to an actual box. Because, you know, everyone kept asking me like, what are you using candle-wise lately? And I'm like, ooh, you caught me. I haven't actually played with any new candles lately. The one I have burning over here right now, which I have to show you because it's just stunning. It's the John Robshofer Toka the Java, which comes with the lid that you can then put underneath. When I say it's sort of like curling up inside of like a giant, but the candle that I picked up recently is from CatBird. I popped into their store the other day with Ava and I got Ghost Rose. The issue was though, all of them smelled good. This is the one that really struck me though, because I think it was the most unique one that I've ever smelled, or out of the collection. Excuse me, I think it was one of the most unique. It says that it's English Rose, Champagne, and Peony. I wouldn't say that there's an extreme like red roses kind of vibe. Like if you're thinking Joe Malone red roses, not the case. It's much more on like the pink rose or white rose side in the sense that there's not that powderiness that I think a lot of roses can sort of have. It's much more sweet. And I think that paired with the whole Fuji apple, like it's like you're slicing a Fuji apple. Like when you bite into one and it's really juicy, imagine that in a scent with a little bit of rose petal action. And that's what this is. And the nice thing about this is, as gorgeous as this is, and the packaging, which has sort of like the Brooklyn skyline on it, 38 bucks. And these are soy candles and they're made in New York. And you can actually get small tin sizes that are, you know, sort of yay big, and they're 14. But I think, you know, if you want like a really luxurious candle that doesn't cost a lot of money, I think, I'm like, why did I not know about this? I always assumed they only made jewelry. Let's talk about products. Let's talk about body, because that's been a really big thing for me. You know, while I was sick, all I wanted to do was just take a shower like 5 times a day if I could, because I just would this is gross, would blow my nose in the shower because I'm like, well, there's running water and it's just much easier to clean that way, and I won't fill up my trash can with tissues every, you know, 3 hours. So all I wanted to do was just take a shower, and when I would get out of the shower, all I would do is a little bit of oil on my face, some body oil, and then just get back in bed and just... So the ones that I have actually used the most, the one that I was using for the longest was the Lavido, which is, I believe, an Israeli brand, and this was sent to me. This is lavender, tea tree, and black cumin seed. So if you have been, like, if you're the kind of person who likes the smell of Artemis, I think you would like this. If you hate the smell of Artemis, this might not be up your alley, because there's definitely a black cumin, tea tree, and lavender element up to this. Extremely herbal, ooh. Extremely tea tree, but more on the eucalyptus side. I feel like sometimes tea tree can be very bitter, and eucalyptus is a little bit more mentholy, and that's what I get from this. But definitely black cumin. The nice thing is it's a really buttery cream that really melts into the skin. I'm always sort of hesitant when I sort of see a really rich cream, because a lot of the time I find it's just, it never fully absorbs, and if it does leave sort of a cushiony film behind, which sometimes I don't mind, it's to the point where like it sort of impacts my life and it sticks to my clothes, and it's not an enjoyable experience. Whereas this, yes, it does leave some softness, but considering the density of this cream and how light it actually feels on the skin, it's a job well done for sure. This is really nice, and it's in a really hefty glass jar. And it's not extremely expensive, which I think is really nice. Body oils. SkinDew, another one that was sent over. Another beautiful small business. This is the Sanctified. They have a few different sort of emotions, if you will. And this is Egyptian sandalwood and lime. Now, when I describe this, I say that it is like Hot Topic in 2003 or 2002. Like when Hot Topic was still where you got your trip pants and like your body jewelry. And it makes me so happy because it reminds me of Hot Topic, going in Hot Topic when my cousin was going through his trip pant phase, and just like sort of the idea, if from my experience at least, the idea of like, and I didn't realize that sandalwood was a scent that I was smelling. I always assumed it was sort of like a jasmine-y incense, but the lime I think prevents this from becoming too cloying. And it does have a spray kind of application method, which I really don't like, to be very honest. I've on more than one occasion sort of sprayed it all over the walls or the floors or whatever, just trying to like, you know, spray it directly on the body. And it's like if I'm pumping it or spraying it into my hands just to apply it on my body, then I would prefer a pump. The juice on the inside is good, so it's like, you know, where do you go with that? It's an argan oil and avocado oil base, I believe. And last but not least, the Tata Harper body oil. Oy vey. If you know what the beautifying face oil smells like, the one that I think is like a TataHarper.com exclusive or whatever, similar to that, or semi-similar to the hydrating floral essence in that it's a very grapefruit. I get jasmine from it personally, but I don't know if it's jasmine. It's a really silky body oil. It's the exact same packaging as the cleansers. The one complaint is the pump. I literally have to use like all of my force to get a little bit out, and it squirts. Oh God. But it's a very like syrupy oil, slightly thicker than the good stuff from May Lindstrom. Yeah, it's very much like the beautifying face oil, which I get very extremely floral, not like sweet, delicate, like teenage fragrance floral, but like a very sensual, yeah, like a romantic floral in a way. And now I'm gonna be so just moisturized from head to toe. Really nice, amazing after a shower. I mean, even on dry skin. Some body oils on dry skin aren't the best. It is $95 though. And at that price, I do think that the pump should be working perfectly. I know that's sort of been an issue for a lot of people with Tata Harper bottles is the pump. And I've heard rumors that the pumps are being changed, but the one that I have and the one that was sent to me is the old pump, but it's too hard to get the product out. And unfortunately, the product is so good that it's like, you know, I'm torn. Everything else in the box, I actually have not purchased. So I want to be sure to make that clear. And the reason why I haven't purchased a lot of product is because there is so much that has been, and that I'm so lucky to have been sent and to try out. So that's the reason I haven't bought a lot of stuff, because there's a lot that I was, you know, that I need to test and that I've been sent, and I want to make sure that I response and feedback before I purchase anything else. So, so when Tata Harper sent over that box, they actually sent the 2 newest pieces from their face collection, from their clarifying collection. So the clarifying moisturizer, which I liked, the formula is beautiful, and I think if you have a really combination oily skin, I think this is finally the first time where a Tata Harper moisturizer is truly suitable for you. I feel like the rebuilding moisturizer is still a little bit rich, whereas this one is much more fluid, and it's incredibly balancing, like in the sense that I put it on top of an oil, and almost immediately after I still needed to put some more oil on, because it's incredibly balancing and incredibly I wouldn't say drying. I mean, on my skin it was in fact quite drying, but I think if you have an oily skin, you might appreciate the balance that you get from this. So I can't use it right now, but I am looking forward to using it in the summer, or you know, especially if I go somewhere where it's really hot or humid, aka New York City, all summer during the day. So I'm excited to play with it, but I don't think it's right for my skin right now. And we'll see. It could end up being summer and it still doesn't work for me. It's still too drying. But I think the fact that they've made a clarifying moisturizer and truly balancing is great. But the spot treatment, when I tell you this works, like this works, it works. I took before and after pictures. You might still be able to see, it's kind of hard to tell because the lighting, once you get good lighting, you're like, I look so much better than I look in real life. I have a little bit of a remnant of a dot left there. It was really red and inflamed and sort of had, like, you know when it gets really red around the edges? That's what was happening. So I put this on one night. The next morning I woke up, it had reduced the redness. It hadn't flattened it completely yet, but it definitely reduced the redness. And then the following night I did it again, and then I woke up the next day and it had completely flattened it. It's not bad, especially for a product where I was, to be honest, a little bit skeptical because I love my salicylic acid products so much. I love Paula's Choice BHA 9, but I think having a green beauty option for a spot treatment, especially now knowing that it works, is fantastic because some people want to go that route. I need to play with it a little bit more. Another one popped up recently, but it actually went away fairly quickly after I hit it with a little glycolic, so we'll see. But the fact that this worked, truly worked, I was pleasantly surprised. My only complaint for my skin is it's incredibly matte. Like it has like a powder finish to it because there is a lot of magnesium aluminum silicate. I did also test it for blackheads. It wasn't as effective, but it definitely reduced texture. Like it sort of flattened the texture out a little bit, which I think is nice. So I'm gonna continue to play with this, but from my initial experience, it worked quite well. Tatcha sent over the Essence. I do want to do a full blog review on this, so be looking out for that over the next couple of weeks, but I tried this rigorously in the sense that it was twice a day, every day. The only issue was I was using it mostly while I was, like right before I got really sick, so I think my immune system was down and my skin was sort of doing all these weird things, so I'm playing with it again now that my skin is back to normal. They do say that it has lactic acid in it from the fermentation of the ingredients that they use. But when I tested the pH, it's quite literally like right around 7, so the pH isn't low enough to actually exfoliate. But for me, I'm not totally against that because I want to be able to use this twice a day, every day. And if there is lactic acid that was at a low pH, I wouldn't be able to do that. So in this case, I think it's much more of a hydrating element, like a humectant element. The thing I like about this is it's priced quite competitively for, you know, there's other similar essences that feature, you know, fermented. In this case, it's mainly Japanese ingredients that are significantly less product for around the same or more money. So I think what Tatcha did was really smart, and this does not have any sodium benzoate in it, so if you're sensitive to that, you can totally use this, and there's no alcohol, it's non-drying, and it's very thin, very watery, which I really like. Another sort of toning type product, Tammy Fender. I was using the cleansing milk, and I still have been using it quite a bit, and I liked it, and I do like it, but to me it doesn't stand out as much as the Roman Chamomile Tonic. Now, interestingly, the formula on this is incredibly simple. It's chamomile water, chamomile oil, capryl glucoside, citric acid, potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate, which is from a vegetable source, just in case you're wondering, and that's it. So you'd think with such a simple formula that you might not see an extreme difference in the skin, but the scent of this is sort of like if you climbed inside the Chamomile cleansing dew, you know, the oil, very similar in that it's incredibly like chamomile, blue tansy sort of smelling deliciousness. It's very balancing. That's the thing that I found. It's hydrating but balancing at the same time. It doesn't feel like it's drying or stripping. It does feel like it's toning and refreshing the skin, but it doesn't leave any film behind. It doesn't have like a super plumping effect, which sometimes you don't necessarily want, you know, in some cases. And sometimes if I just need a quick tone and I want to use more of like a hydration serum, then that's where I would reach for something like this. The pump is a little bit weird because every time I try to put it on a cotton pad, it sort of just squirts everywhere. And I get it, it's very, you know, therapy room-like in that, you know, you have all your products with the pumps that you can just sort of quickly pump it out and apply it to a client's skin. But at home, I think it's a little bit more challenging, just because I'm not an expert in skin therapy and skin treatment and how to use this mechanism. Like, it's so hard, but it's not. But it is, but it's not. Okay, I have to talk about these. So back to basic skincare. Mana, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Hey girl. First of all, Marble, which to be honest, personally, I'm sort of like, okay, it had its moment. I think it does make it look quite luxurious, but personally over the Marble. But I don't care because the juice is the good part. So the issue that I always find when recommending oils to people is most of them are incredibly expensive for the ones that I really like and I do think actually perform on the skin. You know, I love Sunday Riley Juno, I love Votary Superseed, I love, you know, Chamamile's oils, I love La Belle Lune, you know. So it's challenging to find, like, truly what I find to be good oils and good formulas that aren't ridiculously expensive. And that's what I think that she's done with these. These are both, I believe, $48, which it's not cheap. For considering the quality, I think is quite good. So let me read you the ingredient lists. Let's start with the Rose Hip. The Rose Hip, Radiance, and Avocado Repairing. Let's start with the Rose Hip, which I think is their most popular. So it's Rose Hip, Grapeseed, Sea Buckthorn, Camellia oleifera, Chia, Vitamin E, Jojoba, Tomato, and Kiwi. And then the Avocado is Avocado, Apricot, Cranberry, which you know I love, Kukui, Tomato, Sunflower, calendula extract, carrot seed oil, jojoba, pomegranate, and then white or green tea. I can't remember what Camellia oleifera is. So these were what I was using while my skin was sort of like really mad at me while I was not feeling great. And they're beautiful. Neither of them really has a scent. And then what I think that she's done is she's just created a really nice oil blend that will suit sensitive skin because there's not really a fragrant element to either of them. Feels like it's wholesome and rich in nutrients. It's made in New York, which I love. I think they're just really good formulas at a really good price. I was using the Avocado more because my skin was experiencing some dryness, but now that it's back to normal, I've been using the Rose Hip and I've been liking that. So I do like both of them, and I haven't really found which one is a favorite yet because I have been sort of using them equally, but eventually I think I'll be doing a blog post on these, or it'll be part of a bigger feature. So I think what she's done is fantastic. And if you need a good oil that's not ridiculously expensive, but still features really good ingredients, I think this is definitely something to look into. Next, oil. This is their face wash, and they only make one because I feel like what they do really well is minimalism, and I think what they do is simplicity and refinement. This is their face wash. So this is a blend of Manuka honey, raw wild raw wild crafted local honey, hemp seed oil, grapeseed oil, saponified coconut oil, and some essential oils. So I'm very hesitant to saponified oils because most of the time I find they're incredibly drying. And if you don't know, saponification is sort of soap, making soap if you will. You take a fatty acid, you mix it with a base, and that's what you get. So like Dr. Bronner's, if I tried to use that on my body, it's not happening. So that's why I was a little bit hesitant, because even coconut oil can be incredibly drying. And I did not find that was the case with this. This left a very nice, like, not greasy, but like protective oiliness behind in the nicest way possible. It didn't feel like it was too much. The honey felt very clarifying and comforting. Didn't feel incredibly sticky. My initial sort of resistance to it was the scent. It was sort of just a little bit off-putting. Like, I expected it to smell like honey and it didn't. I expected it to smell a little bit more like essential oils and it didn't. But she actually sent the updated formula, which I think, and I smelled it a second ago, it's on my table right over there, and it's a little bit more lemongrassy. But I think at the end of the day, the formula is still really good, and it's a very sort of, it surprised me. That's the thing that I can say about it is I expected it to be one thing and it wasn't, and it was a little bit better than what I was expecting. And it's not a ridiculously expensive product, which I think is great. It's made in small batches, so if you like that concept, and I definitely do, I think it's, you know, support small businesses. I think it's a really nice cleanser. I think all skin types would like it, but if you tend to feel like congested, but you are scared of stripping your skin, I think this is the kind of cleanser that you would appreciate. Next, the Tula overnight treatment. If you guys saw, I did an Instagram live with Emily from Tula, which was amazing. And we did, actually a couple of days later, we did a giveaway. And I definitely plan to go back and do some more Instagram lives with them. Tula's amazing, and I'm definitely a fan. And they sent me home with a few things, one of them being the overnight treatment. Here's the thing. I would imagine I'm a lot of brands' worst nightmares because I look at the directions and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do whatever I want. But just to not be so ornery for once, I followed the instructions exactly on this, and it was amazing. So it says that you want to apply it, a thin layer to cleansed skin at night. Normally I'm like, no, I'm going to do tone, I'm going to do a mist, I'm going to do whatever. But I cleansed, did a little spritz, applied this, let it sit for a minute, and then I was like, I can't. Let me just do a little Juno, just to be safe. And when I woke up, my skin was incredibly smooth, incredibly plump, incredibly soft. It didn't necessarily feel like I put an exfoliant on because it didn't feel any sort of stinging or tingling. But what I did feel the next day was extremely improved texture, incredible softness. This has a lot of different ingredients in it. It's really hard to categorize this because it's sort of a creamy texture, but I would almost classify it as sort of like a resurfacing treatment. Like you would almost imagine you would want to put it on underneath some other products, but I think just having it on fairly clean skin really did sort of allow it to work the way it was intended to, and it's really nice. If you can't handle an extreme amount of exfoliation, like if you can't handle sort of a high percentage, I think this would be a nice thing to try because it definitely does improve texture the next day and sort of softness and plumpness and clarity, but it doesn't do it in an irritating way, which I think is great. And last but not least, a product that I've been testing, and I've actually found it to be quite nice. I haven't tried it long enough to really say like, yes, it does this, or no, it doesn't do this, but the 3Lab WWI cream, first of all, the texture is really beautiful. It's sort of like, it's like a creamy, buttery jelly balm. One of the most unique eye cream textures I've ever experienced. And it's not the kind of thing that I can show you where you could really sort of see like, oh yeah, it definitely is that. But it spreads really beautifully. It provides a really nice amount of hydration. I noticed some improvement in texture after a couple of days. Not extreme firmness or extreme brightness. I don't find it's really kind of brightened any dark circling that I've had in the morning. But then very few things do. I just noticed my eyes look a little bit better. Can't quite put my finger on it yet, and to be fair, I haven't used this day and night every single day since I've gotten it. I have sort of mixed in a few other things, but I have been trialing it and trying it for a couple of days, and so far it's been good. But I'll have to keep playing with it because it's definitely a serious investment piece, and I want to make sure that if it is truly effective, that I let you know. And if it's not, then I'll let you know as well. But that's sort of the thing I think would end up mostly on Instagram. My legs are falling asleep from sitting cross-legged. So that was an extremely long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like being on the couch with me, let me know. I can always like turn it this way, and we can always turn it this way and we can hang out with Carrie and Big if you want. I'll leave that up to you. But I will talk to you guys very soon. And hopefully you're enjoying whatever's going on in your life right now. Take care. Bye.